You're watching The Savera and I'm Vidhi Joshi. Narendra Modi's third term as Indian Prime Minister has faced several complexities, shaped by the US President Donald Trump's second presidency on January 20, 2025. India's border standoff with China had been ongoing for 4 years. Sheikh Hasina had been at the helm of Bangladesh for 16 years, and in Pakistan, the army had propped up a new coalition government. A year on, almost everything has changed. Trump has made a phenomenal political comeback. India and Chinese troops have disengaged in Ladakh. Hasina has been ousted from power. And India has had a 4-day military confrontation with Pakistan after a massive terror attack targeted civilian tourists in Pahalgam. Let's know about all these in detail. US President Donald Trump, the disruptor. Since he took charge as president in January, Donald Trump's actions have plunged the world into uncertainty. His tariffs on countries around the world have caused massive disruptions in trade and markets, and India has been pushed into negotiating a trade deal with the US to signal intent to his domestic base. Trump has made a spectacle of the deportation of illegal immigrants. Plane loads of Indians too have been returned in shackles. He has gone after top universities and foreign students in the US, putting several Indian students under scrutiny and causing widespread concern. With a number exceeding 3.3 lakh, Indians make up one of the largest foreign student cohorts in the US. New Delhi's diplomatic challenge in Washington has become more complicated in the Trump's world. Notably, Donald Trump's second presidency began on January 20, 2025 after defeating Kamala Harris in the 2024 election. His administration swiftly enacted policies focused on immigration, trade, and government efficiency. Donald Trump signed the Lincoln-Riley Act, reinstated the national emergency at the US-Mexico border, and initiated mass deportations. His administration also withdrew from the World Health Organization and the Paris Climate Accords, while imposing high tariffs that led to a stock market crash. Donald Trump established the Department of Government Efficiency, led by Elon Musk, until May 2025 to cut federal spending. His foreign policy included trade wars, tariff hikes, and controversial stances on Ukraine and Gaza. However, his presidency has been marked by legal challenges, executive orders, and political tensions. Donald Trump remains the oldest US president and the first convicted felon to hold office. What are the legal challenges and political tensions after Trump's presidency? Numerous lawsuits. Over 320 lawsuits filed against Donald Trump's executive orders in his second term, with 180 plus rulings pausing initiatives. Challenges target immigration policies, tariffs, and federal employee firings. Immigration policies, legal battles over deportations. Century City funding cuts and visa restrictions, including a case involving a Maryland man deported despite a court order. Tariff disputes. Courts blocked Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs, ruling them illegal, prompting appeals. Tariffs sustained US-China trade relations with temporary easing agreed for 90 days. Federal overhaul. Efforts to shrink government via DOGE faced legal hurdles, halting agency firings and US aid dismantling. Courts paused actions for violating due process. Academic freedom. Lawsuits from universities like Harvard and Columbia against funding cuts, alleging unconstitutional viewpoint discrimination. Political tensions. Donald Trump's approval rating dropped to 40%, with 59% disapproving of tariffs and 55% opposing government cuts. Public protest and National Guard deployments escalated tensions. Judicial resistance. Over 200 court orders stopped Trump's actions, with critics citing constitutional overreach. Supporters claim activist judges obstruct governance. Congressional pushback. Bipartisan frustration over vague modernization plans and legislative packages, adding $2.4 trillion to the debt. After Trump's presidency, another disruption is China's Thaw in Ladakh. After 4.5 years of confrontation, India and China agreed to disengage troops at two remaining friction points in Depsang and Demchok in eastern Ladakh in October, and to resume patrolling. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping met and decided to move towards normalizing ties. Steps are being taken to organize the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra for Indian pilgrims. Talks are underway to restart direct flights, remove curbs on visas for the Chinese, share trans-border river data and resume exchange of journalists. But more than 50,000 troops remain deployed on the icy heights, awaiting the next steps of de-escalation and de-induction. Bangladesh, Hasina's fall. After 16 years in power, the Awami League regime in Bangladesh collapsed like a house of cards in the face of street protest from students and activists backed by the political opposition in July to August last year. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina fled and has been living in India since August 5. Following the chaotic transition to an interim government led by Nobel laureate Professor Muhammad Yunus, New Delhi's ties with Dhaka have suffered. Islamists and a spectrum of opportunities have gone after those aligned with Hasina's regime. Minorities, including Hindus who benefited from Hasina's secularist politics, have been attacked, provoking a very strong response from New Delhi. Bangladesh has asked for Hasina to be extradited, but India has taken the call of giving her refugee. Yunus has played the China card and New Delhi has tightened screws on visas and trade. Pakistan, blood and sindoor. India responded to the killing of 26 civilians with Pahalgam, first with diplomatic steps of including putting the Indus Waters Treaty in suspension and then with the military step of launching attacks on 9 terrorist locations including headquarters of the Lashkar-e-Toiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed. Following 4 days of military confrontation, a ceasefire was announced. India subsequently spelled out the new normal in its dealing with Pakistan, promising a response whenever a terror attack takes place again. In a world made chaotic by Trump's turbulent presidency, India continues to face challenges posed by Pakistan and China, which continues to stand firmly with its all-weather friend and ally. Moving ahead, President Trump, President Xi Jinping and General Asim Munir will test New Delhi's diplomatic skills and capacity. That's all for now. Stay tuned to The Sfera for more updates. Do like, comment and subscribe to the channel.